In a world powered by technology, a handful of companies have become titans, shaping how we live, work, and connect. Behind their sleek facades lies a story of ambition, innovation, and controversy. A journey from humble beginnings to global dominance. This is not just a tale of triumph, but a critical look at the power, responsibility, and impact these tech giants wield. The tech revolution has transformed our lives, connecting people, democratizing information, and fueling innovation. Yet these advancements come with challenges: misinformation, filter bubbles, and growing concerns over monopolies and power. The story of tech giants is both a celebration of progress and a cautionary tale about the need for ethical oversight. Beyond convenience, tech giants have sparked debates on income inequality, job displacement, and privacy. Their platforms shape our mental health and social fabric, while their data collection raises urgent ethical questions. As we embrace technology, we must scrutinize its true cost to society. The rise of tech giants exposes a tension between innovation and responsibility. Calls for stronger antitrust laws, stricter data regulations, and fairer taxes are growing louder as these companies outpace traditional oversight. The challenge ensuring tech power is balanced by accountability and serves the common good. The influence of tech giants is only growing, making critical dialogue about their impact and responsibilities essential. Examining their tax strategies and societal roles, we must weigh innovation against fairness and public good. Understanding their operations empowers us to shape a future where technology benefits all. Our journey begins with Jeff Bezos, who left Wall Street to build Amazon from his Seattle garage in 1994. Fueled by customer obsession and bold risk-taking, Amazon grew from an online bookstore to a global marketplace. Bezos revolutionized logistics, invested in emerging tech, and expanded into cloud computing, streaming, and AI. By 2021, Amazon's reach spanned the globe, generating nearly $470 billion in revenue. Bezos's relentless vision turned a scrappy startup into a tech empire, reshaping how the world shops and works. His story is a testament to the power and consequences of relentless innovation. At Harvard, Mark Zuckerberg launched the Facebook in 2004, aiming to connect students, and soon, the world. Facebook's rapid growth tapped into our need for connection, evolving into a global platform for sharing and community. Zuckerberg's aggressive expansion and acquisitions like Instagram and WhatsApp cemented its dominance. By 2021, Meta reached billions, shaping online communication, advertising, and virtual reality. Zuckerberg's journey shows how a simple idea can redefine human interaction and raise new questions about influence and responsibility. At Stanford, Larry Page and Sergey Brin set out to organize the world's information, launching Google in 1998. Their PageRank algorithm revolutionized search, making information accessible and useful for all. Google quickly expanded: Gmail, Maps, Android, and AI, becoming essential to daily life. By 2021, under Alphabet, Google generated $257 billion in revenue, touching billions worldwide. Page and Brin's vision transformed the internet but also raised new challenges around data and power. In 1997, Reed Hastings and Marc Randolph launched Netflix, starting with DVD rentals by mail. Their bold pivot to streaming in 2007 revolutionized entertainment, making on-demand viewing the norm. Netflix's user-friendly platform and original content fueled explosive growth. By 2021, Netflix boasted over 222 million subscribers and nearly $30 billion in revenue. What began as a simple idea forever changed how the world consumes entertainment. Our next stop takes us back to the 1970s, to a time when personal computers were still a novelty, a niche product for hobbyists and tech enthusiasts. In the heart of Silicon Valley, two Steves, Jobs and Wozniak, were about to ignite a technological revolution that would change the world forever. Steve Jobs, a charismatic visionary with a keen sense of design, and Steve Wozniak, a brilliant engineer with a knack for building groundbreaking hardware, shared a passion for technology and a belief that computers could be more than just clunky machines. They could be tools for creativity, communication, and personal expression. In 1976, working out of Jobs' garage in Los Altos, California, Apple Computer Company was born. Their first product, the Apple I, was a bare-bones computer kit, a far cry from the sleek, user-friendly devices that would later become synonymous with the Apple brand. But it was a start, a testament to the power of innovation and the belief that technology could empower individuals. Over the next few decades, Apple would go on to release a string of iconic products: the Apple II, the Macintosh, the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, each one a testament to Jobs' relentless pursuit of perfection and his unwavering belief in the power of design to transform technology into objects of desire. Apple's products were more than just gadgets, they were cultural touchstones, symbols of innovation, style, and user-friendliness. By 2021, Apple had become the world's most valuable company, its logo, a bitten apple, instantly recognizable around the globe. Apple's revenue for the fiscal year 2021 reached a staggering $365.8 billion, driven by its flagship products like the iPhone, Mac computers, and services like Apple Music and the App Store. The company that began in a humble garage had become a global tech titan, its legacy a testament to the enduring power of vision, innovation, and the belief that technology can change the world. Our final stop on this journey through the origins of tech giants takes us back to the 1970s, to a time when computers were still largely confined to universities and research labs. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, two childhood friends, Bill Gates and Paul Allen, were about to embark on a mission to bring the power of computing to the masses. Gates, a precocious programmer with a sharp business acumen, and Allen, a brilliant software engineer with a passion for technology, shared a vision of a world where computers were no longer just tools for specialists, but essential tools for everyone. In 1975, Gates and Allen founded Microsoft, a company that would go on to revolutionize the software industry. Their breakthrough came in 1981 when IBM, the dominant computer manufacturer at the time, chose Microsoft to develop the operating system for its new personal computer, the IBM PC. The operating system, dubbed MS-DOS, was a rudimentary text-based interface, a far cry from the graphical user interfaces that would later become the norm. But it was a crucial step in making computers more accessible to the average user. MS-DOS became the industry standard, propelling Microsoft to the forefront of the software revolution. Over the next few decades, Microsoft would continue to innovate, releasing a string of successful products, including the Windows operating system, the Microsoft Office suite of productivity applications, and the Xbox gaming console. By 2021, Microsoft had become one of the world's most valuable companies, generating $198 billion in revenue. The company that began with a shared vision between two friends had become a tech titan, its software powering billions of devices worldwide, a testament to the transformative power of technology and the enduring legacy of Bill Gates and Paul Allen. As we've journeyed through the origin stories of these tech titans, from the humble beginnings in garages and dorm rooms to their current positions as global powerhouses, certain common threads have emerged, weaving a tapestry of ambition, innovation, and a relentless pursuit of disruption. These founders, each with their unique personalities and approaches, shared a remarkable ability to identify emerging trends, to anticipate the needs of consumers, and to build products and services that would fundamentally change the way we live, work, and interact with the world. They were all driven by a deep-seated belief in the transformative power of technology, a conviction that they were not just building companies but shaping the future. They were unafraid to challenge the status quo, to disrupt established industries, and to push the boundaries of what was possible. They possessed a rare combination of technical brilliance, business acumen, and an almost evangelical zeal for their products and visions. They were masters of adaptation, constantly iterating on their products, pivoting their business models and embracing new technologies as the digital landscape evolved at breakneck speed. They understood the power of network effects, the exponential growth that comes from connecting people and ideas, and they built platforms that fostered communities, facilitated communication, and democratized access to information and entertainment. But perhaps the most important factor in their success was their unwavering belief in their own visions. They faced skepticism, doubters, and naysayers at every turn, yet they persevered, driven by an inner conviction that they were building something truly special, something that would change the world, and in many ways, they were right. These tech titans have left an indelible mark on our lives, shaping the digital age and transforming the way we live, work, and interact with one another. The stories of these tech titans, from their humble beginnings to their current positions of global dominance, offer a captivating glimpse into the power of human ingenuity, the relentless pace of technological innovation, and the profound impact that a single idea can have on the world. They serve as a testament to the entrepreneurial spirit, the unwavering belief in one's vision, and the willingness to take risks in pursuit of a dream. But as we've seen, the rise of these tech giants has not been without its challenges, its controversies, and its unintended consequences. As they've grown in size and influence, so too have the questions about their impact on society, on our economy, on our privacy, and on the very fabric of our democracy. The road ahead for these tech titans is fraught with both promise and peril. They will undoubtedly continue to innovate, to disrupt, and to shape the future in ways we can only begin to imagine. But they will also face increasing scrutiny, regulation, and public pressure to address the societal challenges exacerbated by their dominance. The story of these tech giants is far from over. In fact, it's just the beginning. As we move further into the digital age, the decisions these companies make, the technologies they develop, and the power they wield will have a profound impact on all of our lives. It is up to us, as citizens, as consumers, and as a society, to engage in a critical and informed dialogue about the role we want these tech titans to play in shaping our future. We've marveled at the meteoric rise of tech giants, those ingenious innovators who've reshaped our world. But behind the sleek gadgets and user-friendly apps lies a truth often whispered, rarely shouted. These titans of tech, while revolutionizing our lives, often play by a different set of rules when it comes to taxes. It's a game of high finance and intricate strategies where billions of dollars are at stake, and the winners are often those who can navigate the complex maze of tax laws with the greatest agility. This is not to say that these tech giants are breaking the law, far from it. They employ teams of brilliant lawyers and accountants, experts in navigating the intricacies of tax codes and exploiting legal loopholes with laser-like precision. They operate in a world of offshore subsidiaries, transfer pricing agreements, and complex corporate structures, all designed to minimize their tax liabilities and maximize their profits. For these tech titans, minimizing taxes is not merely a matter of financial prudence, it's a strategic imperative. In the hyper-competitive world of technology, where innovation is constant and market share can shift overnight, every dollar saved on taxes is a dollar that can be reinvested in research and development, in acquisitions, in expanding into new markets, and in maintaining their edge over rivals. But as we'll see, the aggressive tax avoidance strategies employed by these tech giants have far-reaching consequences, impacting everything from public services and infrastructure to the very foundations of our democracy. It's a story of winners and losers, of a system that often seems rigged in favor of the wealthy and powerful, and of a growing chorus of voices calling for reform, for greater transparency, and for a more level playing field. Imagine a tropical island, palm trees swaying in the breeze, turquoise waters lapping at pristine beaches. Now picture this, nestled among the luxury resorts and offshore banks, you'll find the virtual headquarters of some of the world's biggest tech companies. These idyllic locales, often referred to as tax havens, offer more than just sunshine and sandy shores. They provide a haven from the tax burdens that weigh down companies in more traditional business hubs. Countries like Ireland, Luxembourg, the Cayman Islands, and Bermuda have become magnets for tech giants seeking to minimize their global tax bills. These tax havens typically offer low or even zero corporate tax rates, lax financial regulations, and a high degree of secrecy, making them ideal locations for companies looking to shield their profits from the taxman. Here's how it works. A tech giant establishes a subsidiary in a tax haven, often little more than a post office box or a virtual office. This subsidiary then becomes the legal owner of intellectual property, patents, or other valuable assets, effectively shifting profits from high-tax countries to these low-tax jurisdictions. Since the subsidiary is technically located in the tax haven, the parent company can claim that these profits are not subject to taxation in their home country. The result? Tech giants can amass billions of dollars in profits offshore, effectively shielding this income from taxation in the countries where they generate the majority of their revenue. This practice, while perfectly legal, raises serious ethical questions about corporate responsibility, fairness, and the erosion of the tax base upon which public services and infrastructure rely. In the intricate world of international taxation, transfer pricing is a high-stakes game played by multinational corporations, and tech giants are among the most adept players. Imagine a tech company with subsidiaries in multiple countries, each responsible for different aspects of its operations: manufacturing, research and development, marketing, and sales. Transfer pricing comes into play when these subsidiaries transact with each other, buying and selling goods, services, or intellectual property. The key here is that the price at which these transactions occur, the transfer price, is not determined by market forces, but rather by the company itself. This creates an opportunity for tech giants to strategically manipulate these prices to shift profits from high-tax countries to low-tax jurisdictions. For example, a tech company might have its manufacturing subsidiary in a low-tax country sell its products to a marketing and sales subsidiary in a high-tax country at an artificially low price. This reduces the profits reported in the high-tax country where corporate taxes are higher, and increases the profits reported in the low-tax country where taxes are lower. Transfer pricing is a complex and often opaque area of tax law, making it difficult for tax authorities to effectively monitor and regulate. Tech giants with their global reach, sophisticated accounting systems, and armies of tax lawyers are often able to exploit these complexities to their advantage, minimizing their global tax bills and maximizing their profits. Welcome to the world of international tax avoidance, where honestly, creativity knows no bounds and complexity reigns supreme. The double Irish and Dutch sandwich is not a culinary delight, but rather a notorious tax avoidance strategy that has allowed tech giants like Google, Apple, and Facebook to shelter billions of dollars in profits from taxation. This strategy involves a complex web of subsidiaries incorporated in Ireland, the Netherlands, and often a third tax haven like Bermuda. It takes advantage of loopholes in the tax laws of these countries, allowing companies to route profits through a series of subsidiaries, ultimately ending up in a low or no tax jurisdiction. Here's a simplified breakdown. A tech company establishes two Irish subsidiaries and a Dutch subsidiary. The first Irish subsidiary, responsible for generating profits from intellectual property, licenses those rights to the Dutch subsidiary. The Dutch subsidiary then licenses those rights to the second Irish subsidiary, which is typically headquartered in a tax haven like Bermuda. The beauty of this arrangement is that the Dutch subsidiary, sandwiched between the two Irish entities, is subject to minimal taxation in the Netherlands due to a quirk in Dutch tax law. And because the second Irish subsidiary is headquartered in a tax haven, those profits are effectively shielded from taxation altogether. The result? Billions of dollars in profits effectively disappear from the taxman's radar. Governments around the world, eager to foster innovation and economic growth, often offer a smorgasbord of tax incentives to businesses, particularly those in the technology sector. These incentives, in the form of tax credits and deductions, can significantly reduce a company's tax liability, freeing up capital for research and development, job creation, and other investments. Tech giants, with their vast resources and sophisticated tax planning strategies, are masters at leveraging these incentives to their advantage. One common tax break is the Research and Development Tax Credit, which allows companies to deduct a portion of their research and development expenses from their taxable income. This incentivizes companies to invest in innovation, pushing the boundaries of technology, and developing new products and services. Another popular tax break for tech companies is the Investment Tax Credit, which provides a tax credit for investments in renewable energy projects, such as solar panels and wind turbines. As tech giants increasingly embrace sustainability initiatives, the Investment Tax Credit offers a way to reduce their tax burdens, while also signaling their commitment to environmental responsibility. While tax credits and deductions can be valuable tools for promoting innovation and economic growth, critics argue that these incentives often disproportionately benefit large, profitable corporations like tech giants who have the resources and expertise to navigate the complexities of the tax code and maximize their benefits. They argue that these tax breaks often come at the expense of investments in public services and infrastructure, widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots. In the roller coaster world of business, profits are never guaranteed, even for tech giants. Startups in particular often incur losses in their early years as they invest heavily in research and development, marketing, and building their customer base. Fortunately for these companies, the tax code offers a valuable tool for weathering these lean times. Loss carryforwards. Loss carryforwards allow companies to offset future profits with losses incurred in previous years, reducing their tax liability when they eventually become profitable. This provides a financial cushion for startups, allowing them to reinvest more of their earnings in growth and expansion, rather than paying taxes. Tech giants, despite their often immense profitability, also take advantage of loss carryforwards. Mergers and acquisitions, fluctuations in global markets, and investments in risky ventures can all lead to temporary losses, even for the most successful companies. While loss carryforwards are a legitimate tax planning tool, critics argue that they can be exploited by companies to artificially reduce their tax bills. They point to cases where companies engage in aggressive accounting practices to inflate their losses in early years, maximizing their potential for future tax breaks. This, they argue, distorts the principles of fair taxation and undermines the government's ability to collect the revenue needed to fund essential public services. In the world of finance, there are two primary ways for companies to raise capital equity financing, which involves selling shares of ownership in the company, and debt financing, which involves borrowing money. While both methods have their advantages and disadvantages, debt financing offers a particular tax advantage that tech giants have been quick to exploit: the deductibility of interest payments. When a company borrows money, it typically pays interest on that loan. Under the tax code, these interest payments are considered a business expense and can be deducted from the company's taxable income, reducing its overall tax liability. This creates a powerful incentive for companies to finance their operations and investments through debt rather than equity. Tech giants, with their strong credit ratings and access to cheap credit, are in a prime position to take advantage of debt financing. They often issue corporate bonds or secure loans at low interest rates, allowing them to deduct substantial interest payments from their taxable income each year. While the deductibility of interest payments is a long-standing principle of tax law, critics argue that it gives an unfair advantage to large, profitable companies like tech giants, who can borrow vast sums of money at low rates. They argue that this tax break distorts investment decisions, encourages excessive leverage, and reduces the government's ability to collect the revenue needed to fund public services. In the cutthroat world of tech, attracting and retaining top talent is paramount. Engineers, developers, and designers are the lifeblood of these companies, and competition for their skills is fierce. To lure the best and brightest, tech giants offer generous compensation packages, often heavily weighted towards stock options and other forms of equity-based compensation. Stock-based compensation offers a win-win scenario for both the company and the employee. For the employee, it provides the opportunity to share in the company's success, as the value of their stock options increases alongside the company's valuation. For the company, it offers a way to conserve cash flow, especially in the early stages when profitability may be elusive. But stock-based compensation also offers a significant tax advantage for both parties. When a company grants stock options to an employee, it can deduct the value of those options from its taxable income at the time they are exercised, reducing its tax liability. The employee, in turn, typically doesn't pay taxes on those options until they are exercised, and even then, they may be eligible for favorable capital gains tax rates, which are typically lower than ordinary income tax rates. This tax deferral can be substantial, especially for employees of rapidly growing tech companies whose stock options appreciate significantly in value. In today's interconnected world, tech giants operate on a global scale, with subsidiaries, customers, and revenue streams spanning continents. This global reach, while offering immense opportunities for growth and expansion, also presents a complex web of tax laws, regulations, and reporting requirements. Navigating this labyrinthine system is no easy feat, but tech giants, with their vast resources and armies of tax experts, have become masters of global tax optimization. Global tax optimization involves strategically structuring a company's operations to take advantage of differences in tax laws and rates across various jurisdictions. This may involve establishing subsidiaries in low-tax countries, shifting intellectual property to tax havens, or routing profits through a complex network of intercompany transactions. The goal of global tax optimization is to minimize the company's overall tax liability, freeing up more capital for investment, growth, and shareholder returns. Tech giants, with their complex business models, intangible assets, and global footprints, are particularly well-positioned to engage in these strategies. However, global tax optimization has come under increasing scrutiny in recent years, with critics arguing that it allows multinational corporations to avoid paying their fair share of taxes, eroding the tax base of countries where they generate significant revenue. Governments and international organizations are grappling with ways to address these concerns and create a more level playing field for all businesses, regardless of their size or global reach. We've journeyed through the intricate world of tax avoidance, marveling at the ingenuity of tech giants in minimizing their contributions to the common good. But as we step back from the balance sheets and legal loopholes, a stark reality comes into focus. The price of these tax strategies is not paid in dollars and cents, but in the very fabric of our society. Each dollar a tech giant diverts to a tax haven, each deduction they masterfully claim, represents a dollar absent from the public coffers, a dollar that could have built a school, paved a road, or funded life-saving research. The consequences of this systemic underfunding are not abstract figures on a spreadsheet, they're felt in the daily lives of everyday people. They are the overcrowded classrooms where teachers struggle to provide individual attention. They are the crumbling bridges and potholed roads that slow our commutes and jeopardize our safety. They are the understaffed hospitals where patients face long wait times and compromised care. The irony is that these tech giants, who owe their very existence to the infrastructure, education system, and legal framework provided by the societies they operate in, are often the least willing to contribute to their upkeep. They benefit immensely from a skilled workforce, reliable transportation networks, and a stable legal environment, yet they shirk their responsibility to invest in the very systems that have enabled their success. This is not merely a matter of economic efficiency or fiscal responsibility, it's a question of social justice. When corporations, particularly those as wealthy and influential as tech giants, fail to pay their fair share, the burden falls disproportionately on individuals and small businesses, who are left to shoulder the load of supporting essential public services. This creates a vicious cycle where underfunded public services lead to diminished opportunities, widening inequality, and a decline in the overall quality of life for everyone, except perhaps the tech elite. Public services are the bedrock of a just and equitable society. Education, healthcare, transportation, infrastructure, these are not mere amenities. They are the essential building blocks of opportunity, enabling individuals to reach their full potential and contribute to the common good. Yet across the developed world, these vital services are facing a crisis of underfunding, starved of the resources needed to meet the growing demands of a changing world. While the reasons for this crisis are complex and multifaceted, one factor looms large: the systematic erosion of the corporate tax base, fueled in no small part by the aggressive tax avoidance strategies employed by multinational corporations, particularly those in the tech sector. As tech giants funnel their profits to offshore tax havens and exploit loopholes to minimize their tax liabilities, the revenue streams that support essential public services dwindle, leaving governments struggling to maintain even the most basic functions. The consequences of this underfunding are far-reaching and devastating. Schools, once beacons of opportunity, are forced to cut programs, increase class sizes, and operate with outdated equipment, jeopardizing the quality of education for future generations. Hospitals, already stretched thin, face longer wait times, staff shortages, and a diminished ability to provide quality care, particularly to the most vulnerable members of society. Transportation systems, crucial for economic competitiveness and social mobility, suffer from neglect, with roads and bridges crumbling, public transit systems underfunded, and airports struggling to keep up with demand. The very infrastructure that underpins our modern economy and connects our communities is slowly decaying, leaving us ill-equipped to meet the challenges of the 21st century. Income inequality, the growing chasm between the haves and the have-nots, is one of the most pressing issues of our time, threatening social cohesion, economic stability, and the very foundations of our democracy. While the forces driving this trend are complex and interconnected, one factor stands out as a significant contributor: the erosion of the corporate tax base, fueled in no small part by the tax avoidance strategies employed by tech giants and other multinational corporations. As these corporations minimize their tax contributions, the burden of funding essential public services falls disproportionately on individuals and small businesses, who are less equipped to navigate the complexities of the tax code or shift their profits to offshore tax havens. This creates a system where the wealthy and powerful pay less, while the middle class and the poor bear a disproportionate share of the tax burden. This imbalance has a cascading effect on society. As the wealthy accumulate more wealth and pay less in taxes, they have more resources to invest in political influence, shaping policies that further benefit their interests at the expense of the common good. Meanwhile, the middle class struggles to keep up, squeezed by stagnant wages, rising costs of living, and a shrinking social safety net. The result is a society increasingly divided along economic lines, where opportunities are limited, social mobility is stifled, and the American dream feels increasingly out of reach for far too many. At the heart of any functioning society lies an implicit social contract, an unspoken agreement between citizens and their government. Citizens agree to abide by the rule of law, to contribute their fair share to the common good, and to participate in the democratic process. In return, the government agrees to provide essential public services, to protect its citizens from harm, and to create a level playing field where everyone has the opportunity to succeed. This social contract, while not always explicitly stated, is the foundation upon which a just and equitable society is built. However, the aggressive tax avoidance strategies employed by tech giants and other multinational corporations threaten to undermine this fundamental agreement. When corporations, particularly those as wealthy and influential as tech giants, shirk their responsibility to contribute to the common good, it erodes trust in the fairness and legitimacy of the system. Citizens, witnessing a system that seems rigged in favor of the wealthy and powerful, may become disillusioned with the democratic process, cynical about the rule of law, and less willing to contribute their own fair share. This erosion of trust, if left unchecked, can have far-reaching consequences, weakening the very fabric of society and making it more difficult to address collective challenges. The tax avoidance strategies employed by tech giants are not merely a domestic issue. They are symptomatic of a global race to the bottom, where countries compete for corporate investment by offering increasingly generous tax breaks, loopholes, and regulatory exemptions. This global game of tax competition creates a perverse incentive for corporations to pit countries against each other, extracting concessions and minimizing their tax liabilities while contributing less and less to the societies in which they operate. This race to the bottom is driven by a complex interplay of factors, including globalization, technological advancements, and the increasing mobility of capital. As businesses become more globalized, with operations and investments spanning continents, they gain leverage over governments, who are eager to attract and retain corporate taxpayers, often at the expense of their own citizens. Technological advancements, particularly in the realm of digital technology, have further fueled this trend. The rise of e-commerce, cloud computing, and other digital business models has made it easier than ever for companies to shift profits to low-tax jurisdictions and minimize their tax liabilities in the countries where they generate the majority of their revenue. This global tax competition creates a lose-lose scenario for everyone involved. Countries, in their desperation to attract and retain corporate investment, erode their own tax bases, leaving them with fewer resources to invest in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and other essential public services. This, in turn, undermines their long-term economic competitiveness and social well-being, creating a vicious cycle of decline. The growing public outcry over corporate tax avoidance, particularly by tech giants and other multinational corporations, has spurred a global movement for reform, a call for a fairer, more transparent, and more equitable international tax system. Governments, international organizations, and civil society groups are increasingly recognizing that the current system, riddled with loopholes, inconsistencies, and a lack of transparency, is no longer fit for purpose in the 21st century. The call for reform centers around several key principles, including tax fairness, ensuring that all corporations, regardless of their size, industry, or global reach, pay their fair share of taxes, based on where they actually generate their profits, not where they choose to book them on paper. Transparency, shining a light on the often opaque world of corporate tax practices, requiring greater disclosure of financial information, and making it more difficult for companies to hide profits in offshore tax havens. International cooperation, recognizing that tax avoidance is a global problem that requires global solutions, fostering greater cooperation between countries to close loopholes, share information, and prevent a race to the bottom. A level playing field, creating a tax system that is fair and equitable for all businesses, large and small, domestic and multinational, ensuring that the benefits of globalization are shared more broadly, rather than accruing primarily to a select few. Achieving meaningful tax reform is a daunting task, requiring political will, international cooperation, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. However, the stakes are high. Failure to address the issue of corporate tax avoidance threatens to undermine public trust, exacerbate inequality, and erode the very foundations of our social contract. As we conclude our exploration of the tax practices of tech titans, we find these companies at a crossroads, facing a choice that will shape not only their own destinies, but also the future of our society. On one path lies a future where these companies continue to prioritize profit maximization above all else, exploiting legal loopholes, minimizing their tax contributions, and externalizing the costs of their success onto society. This path, while potentially lucrative in the short term, is ultimately unsustainable, leading to a more unequal, less just, and potentially unstable world. On the other path lies a future where these companies embrace a broader definition of success, one that recognizes their responsibility to the societies that have enabled their rise. This path requires a fundamental shift in mindset, from a narrow focus on shareholder value to a broader stakeholder perspective, recognizing that their long-term success is inextricably linked to the well-being of their customers, their employees, and the communities in which they operate. This is not to suggest that these companies should abandon their pursuit of profit or innovation. Rather, it's a call for them to recognize that true sustainable success requires a more holistic approach, one that balances financial performance with social responsibility, technological advancement with ethical considerations, and global reach with local impact. The eyes of the world are watching. The decisions these tech titans make in the coming years will have far-reaching consequences, shaping not only the future of the tech industry, but also the very fabric of our society. It is time for them to choose wisely for their own sake and for the sake of us all. We stand at a crossroads in the digital age, marveling at the transformative power of technology while, grappling with its unintended consequences. We've witnessed firsthand how just a handful of brilliant minds, armed with revolutionary ideas and an unwavering belief in their visions, built empires that have totally reshaped our world. From the convenience of online shopping to the power of social connection, from the vast knowledge at our fingertips to the entertainment that streams right into our homes, these tech titans have made our lives undeniably easier, more efficient, and more interconnected. Yet, as we've delved into the intricate world of corporate taxation, a darker side of this technological revolution has emerged. We've seen how these same companies, while reaping the rewards of innovation, have also mastered the art of tax avoidance, exploiting legal loopholes, shifting profits to offshore havens, and minimizing their contributions to the societies that have enabled their success. This paradox of progress, the simultaneous advancement of technology, and the erosion of the social contract, presents us with a profound moral and societal challenge. Can we reap the undeniable benefits of technological innovation while ensuring that its costs are not borne disproportionately by the most vulnerable among us? Can we reconcile the libertarian ethos of Silicon Valley, with its emphasis on individual freedom and disruption, with the need for collective responsibility and a social safety net that protects us from the inevitable disruptions that come with rapid technological change? These are not merely academic questions, they are fundamental questions about the kind of society we want to create, the values we want to uphold, and the future we want to build together. In this digital age where technology permeates every aspect of our lives, it's easy to feel like passive consumers, swept along by the tide of innovation, our choices dictated by algorithms and our attention spans, fragmented by a constant stream of notifications. But we are not merely consumers, we are citizens, with a voice and a responsibility to shape the world we want to live in. This is a call to action, a plea to move beyond the complacency of clicking, liking, and scrolling, and to engage in a more critical and informed dialogue about the role of technology in our lives, and the responsibilities of the companies that wield such immense power. We must demand greater transparency from tech giants, holding them accountable for their tax practices, their environmental impact, and their impact on our privacy and democracy. We must advocate for policies that promote a more equitable distribution of the benefits of technological innovation, ensuring that the digital divide doesn't become a chasm, further entrenching existing inequalities. We must support organizations fighting for digital rights, for a more open and accessible internet, and for a future where technology empowers individuals rather than concentrating power in the hands of a select few. This is not about demonizing technology or stifling innovation. It's about harnessing its transformative power to create a more just, equitable, and sustainable future for all. The tax avoidance strategies employed by tech giants are not just a problem for governments struggling to fund essential public services, they're really a symptom of a deeper flaw in our global economic system, a system that has become increasingly tilted in favor of multinational corporations and the wealthy elite. Addressing this fundamental imbalance requires more than just tweaking tax laws or closing loopholes. It demands a fundamental rethink of the rules of the game, a rewriting of the code that governs the relationship between corporations, governments, and citizens in the 21st century. This is not an impossible dream. Across the globe, a growing movement is calling for a more just and equitable international tax system, one that ensures that all corporations, regardless of their size or global reach, pay their fair share, based on where they generate their profits, not where they choose to book them on paper. This movement is gaining momentum, fueled by public outrage over corporate tax dodging, the increasing urgency of addressing income inequality and climate change, and the recognition that the current system is simply unsustainable. From the halls of the United Nations to the streets of our cities, people are demanding a new social contract, one that recognizes the interconnectedness of our world and the shared responsibility we all have to create a more just and sustainable future. The tech industry, with its history of disruption and innovation, has a unique opportunity to lead the way in this global movement for tax justice. By embracing a more responsible approach to taxation, tech giants can not only restore public trust and demonstrate their commitment to the societies they operate in, but they can also help to create a more level playing field for all businesses, fostering a more sustainable and equitable global economy. The story of the tech giants is a story of human ingenuity, of audacious dreams realized, of the power of technology to connect, inform, and entertain on a global scale. But it is also a story of unintended consequences, of a growing disconnect between technological advancement and social progress, of a system that too often rewards wealth extraction over value creation. As we move further into the digital age, the choices these tech titans make will have profound consequences, shaping not only the future of their own industries but honestly, the very fabric of our society. Will they continue to prioritize short-term profits and shareholder returns above all else? Or will they embrace a broader definition of success, one that recognizes their responsibility to the communities and societies that have enabled their rise? The power of innovation must be balanced by the responsibility of stewardship. Tech giants have a unique opportunity, and indeed a moral obligation, to use their considerable resources and influence to address the challenges facing our world, from climate change and inequality, to the erosion of democracy and the spread of misinformation. By embracing a more ethical and sustainable approach to business, by paying their fair share of taxes, by investing in their employees and communities, and by using their platforms to promote truth, justice, and the common good, tech titans can help to ensure that the digital revolution benefits all of humanity, not just a select few. The future is unwritten, but the time to choose is now.